Hello friends, my name is Radhamasu. Today we shall discuss about a topic that what is scope creep and how to avoid the scope creep. Friend, today's topic is very important with respect to project management, and if you are a student of PMP and you are planning to give exam of PMP in the near future, so this is a very important topic, and at least 4 to 5 questions you will definitely see in the exam which are directly related to the concept of scope creep. So let's start, friend. First of all, I request you please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start, friend. uh, how to avoid the scope creep. So first of all, we have to understand that what is a scope creep. Friend, when we talk about a scope creep, it occurs when the scope, deliverables or features on a project expand from what was originally set without being accounted for in additional time or budget. It can affect any fixed scope project. It's a very common thing as it can happen both intentionally or unintentionally, stemming from any number of the people involved in the project. For example, friend, you are implementing e-commerce solution, and initially you have to implement 4 modules for the e-commerce solution. Then intentionally or unintentionally, one more module was added in the e-commerce solution without being additional time of the time and cost and scope. So what will happen that 4 modules were planned to complete in the 4 months, and one module was unintentionally or intentionally added into the scope without being informing to the project management, or without being adding additional time. So it will become a huge problem, huge issue. So it is considered as the scope creep. Unfortunately, scope creep can lead to project failure. Project become definitely goes towards failure if we are adding a scope without proper change request, proper additional time and cost, etc. Causes of scope creep and how to avoid them. First of all, not having a clear scope. Friend, many times it happens that we start a project with great enthusiasm, and we don't either ourselves or from the customer side, we don't have the clear scope boundaries, we don't have the scope document. So the most important thing is that the scope should be properly documented and properly signed from both parties, from customer side and from the vendor side as well. Then not having client agreement. We have initiated a project, we have discussed the scope, but the agreement of the scope was not on the scope was not discussed. For example, you have made the scope document, but the scope document was not clearly or thoroughly discussed and understood by the customer. You have not sit with the customer, and you haven't clearly line by line you haven't discussed the scope with him. So due to that reason, the agreement was not there. So this is very important that, friend, whenever you make a scope document, you should have to sit with the customer line by line. You have to discuss the scope lines with the customer, and the boundaries of the scope should be clearly understood by the customer. This is very necessary. Not raising issues proactively. That means, friend, if there is any issues coming, for example, you need something, you need some data from the customer. For example, you have a dependency on the availability of data, and at you should have to raise it at least 1 month or 2 weeks prior to the customer that you need that particular data. So if you are not raising the issues proactively, so it will become another reason of a scope creep. Not agreeing on how to handle the change. Friend, this is necessary that the change request management, that if anything which is not coming under the boundaries of the scope, it should be managed, it should be handled through the change request procedure. So the CR or change request procedure should be properly documented in the scope document, and the management or the customer especially, they should understand that if anything is not part of the scope and they want to add it into the scope of work, so it should be managed only through the change request. So change request means that the change will be analyzed with respect to scope, time, cost, what is the time required, how much time will be required, how much cost will be required. With respect to that with respect to all these factors, the CR or change request will be analyzed and made accordingly, and after the change request will be approved, it will become a part of a scope. Then not interrogating new request. Many times it happens that, friend, most of the people from functional side, normally it happens that they think if any new thing is coming, so they think that it will improve the quality of the product, it will improve their product, so that's why they welcome the new request. As a project manager, friend, you always have to question the new request, new requirement, and whether it is a part of a scope or not. If it is not a part of a scope, you should have to upfrontly ask them, you should upfrontly say them that it is a new request and it will be managed through the change request with additional time and cost. So how to eliminate, to review all new requests with the full team, create a clear understanding of what the request is, the impact of incorporating an outcome for the user. So friend, thank you, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks for watching the video. Thank you.